Rome, thank you very much. Well, let's bring in Cecilia Emma Sottilotta, who's an assistant professor of global politics at the American University of Rome. She's there now and joins me live. Is this unusual to see this outpouring of support for an Italian leader? I read that there have been 63 governments in Italy since 1945. It sounds like affection for any leader in Italy is short-lived.
Yes. Absolutely. So first of all, thank you for having me. I wouldn't qualify it as an outpouring of support, to be fair. I've been discussing this with many colleagues. Actually, the numbers are not so overwhelming. These manifestations of support were not so impressive as some observers are actually portraying them. I think there is a problem in Italy that is these long-term crisis of if you want, of democracy, of democratic representation, that sometimes causes this kind of discourse whereby, there's a savior coming up, right? So Draghi has been portrayed by the press especially, but also by some sections of the public opinion as the savior that's going to fix Italy's problems. I'm not so optimistic, to be honest. The country has issues that, as I said, are long-term. So I completely agree that, having a situation of political instability in the fall is highly undesirable for the country. But at the same time, political parties run for elections and they have to take responsibility for policies. They cannot simply delegate this function to, whatever technocratic political leader who may be called to fix a crisis situation.
Now, this crisis was initially triggered after the coalition partners, the Five Star Movement, said they wouldn't support the Prime Minister anymore. How do you explain the dynamic within this power struggle in the ruling coalition?
I think it was really clear from the very beginning of Draghi's mandate. He was called to lead his gross coalition. It's a very broad coalition. There's just one party who didn't join, and it's Brothers of Italy. So there were many contradictions already, I think, within this coalition. By the way, it is interesting to notice that the only opposition party has been doing great in opinion polls, meaning that the support for Draghi and his government is not so overwhelming again as it would seem from the outside. So the Five Star Movement is going through an identity crisis. It lost some pieces. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Luigi Di Maio, basically left the Five Star Movement, and he was one of the prominent figures in the party. And it's really a party that lost its identity. They won the election with an agenda, based on transparency, support to, income for families. But then they sort of changed. They, as I said, they started losing pieces. Right. And I think this crisis is really an example of that identity crisis.
Sure. Cecilia Emma Sottilotta, Professor of Global Politics at the American University in Rome. Thanks for speaking to us on the NewsHour.